Crewniverse fans, this is Dragon Videos, and it's finally here! Steven Universe the movie. After a long wait, it really is something worth watching. From the characters to the songs, which are really catchy by the way. I guarantee that you would have a hard time trying to forget these songs, as well as the design of the backgrounds and how the plot of the story goes. This again is so worth watching. And in this video, I'm going to discuss all these concepts piece by piece. I guess I can begin with the Diamonds singing their song of how Steven united them, and as well as admitting that they were just terrible rulers in general. I also liked how they used a storybook to begin the show. It not only was it cute, but I felt like it was a small nod to Disney since they were known to do that a lot. And of course, Steven announces that he's retiring and heading back to Beach City. The Diamonds, well, let's just say they were not too keen on that idea. Yeah, the Diamonds kind of concerned me on that part. However, despite that, Steven cared about them. Anyway, he gets a kiss goodbye from Connie before she leaves for space camp. And then he goes around Beach City, noticing that Pearl is getting along with Greg after so many years of a strained relationship. Amethyst being super excited that there are other gems living on Earth, despite the fact of how she had to overcome that issue by herself. And of course, Garnet talking about how she developed her relationship into a bona fide relationship from mutual trust, then a small mishap from a pink diamond. As they all began to relax, it was a nice way of reflecting it, but their troubles were far from over. Enter Spinel. Even though her design is cartoony, do not let that fool you. The moment her theme plays, you get this horrible vibe of, oh god, we're going to die. True, her design's not as sinister as that of the Diamonds, but still gives off that horrible, creepy clown vibe, which is probably a little tame compared to it. Then havoc ensues the moment she begins to sing her song of their friends. And throughout the entire time, all I kept thinking was, what the heck is going on here? Why is she attacking Steven and the gang? And more importantly, what is she doing with that enormous drill? And then she really gets ticked off the moment Steven asks of who the heck she is, because as far as we can tell, Pearl was the only person who recognized her. The question is, what is she doing on Earth? Things take a turn for the worse throughout the anime-based fight, resulting in pulling out a rejuvenator, which is supposed to be more scarier than a gem destabilizer. It took out the crystal gems and let it be known it was the most horrific scene in the movie. Steven managed to dismantle Spinel. Unbeknownst to him, the results were catastrophe. Not only to his gem, but also to Garnet, who now is resorted back to being Ruby and Sapphire, Pearl being reverted back to being her original circuit setting, and then of course Amethyst being a personal little baby understanding nothing. And surprisingly, Spinel was also in that result. You could sort of say this was a huge WTF moment. Thankfully, with the help of Bismuth, Lapis, and Paragon, Steven finally got some idea of what he has to do to bring the gems back to normal. For he would have to give them experiences of love, friendship, and loss. It was through that process of loss that he was able to bring back Pearl, and not any moment sooner. It turns out that the drill was filled with poison that would destroy the Earth. But of course, in the events of that fusion of Stag, as it turns out that the fusion of Greg and Steven is called, Spinel finally gets some of her sad memories back. It turns out she was a playmate to Pink Diamond. Excuse me for a bit. Darn it, you guys! How many times are we gonna go through this? Pink is not a villain. She was awful in terms of her decision, yes, but she didn't have anyone to guide her in doing the right thing. The only thing she did right was with giving Steven birth. I'm sure she didn't want to hurt Spinel's feelings, but I think she couldn't find the proper words to say goodbye to her. And true, it really was awful that she left her only friend and playmate behind for 6,000 years. It was by then that Spinel finally got angry at the Earth after finding out that Pink Diamond is now gone. However, Steven managed to convince her to come back to Earth and get rid of the drill. For a while, things were coming back to normal, until Steven wanted to help Garnet out, and Spinel had a full-blown panic attack and began fighting it again. Thankfully, Garnet, even though she was like the last gem to finally be back to her true normal self, at least she managed to help out the gems quickly and getting every citizen off the destroyed beach city. And of course, this also results in Steven having to once again confront Spinel. And through that process, he has to risk his own butt as his life is drifting away. Again, he no longer has his gem powers on his side. This really ticked Spinel off, up to the point where she was having him by a rope. It was by then in the fight that Steven realized his missing piece that restored his powers, his capability of change. And as the fight dragged on, he began to try to convince Spinel that true, he can't force her to change. This is up to her. And he recognizes that she's been hurt. She's been through so much. And if there's only way to make the pain stop, it's to survive. And this results in Spinel finally breaking down and admitting the fact that she only wants to be Steven's friend. And I think in a lot of ways there's a lot of truth to what she's saying. And of course, after all the events that happened and the drill being destroyed, Steven tries to comfort her, but she of course recognized the fact that she's in a bad position and wants to start fresh. And as if there was an unanswered prayer before her, the diamonds show up wanting to live with Steven. Okay. But thankfully they took Spinel instead. For Spinel's sakes and ours, I hope the diamonds take really good care of her. Overall, the plot in the Steven universe was very well developed. It reflects on the character development of each of the crystal gems and a special plot points where the movie doesn't become too predictable, such as Spinel's backstory. It also shows that it still holds true to the themes of change, self-love, and loss. I can't wait for the future plot of Season 6 and what questions that could possibly answer from the movie. I did like the character design of Spinel. It definitely gave off a vibe of villain in a good way, as well as it gave off that deep sense of creepiness that you just want to walk away from. And then her origin story really was well thought out. It gave the idea of why Spinel wanted to hurt Steven and destroy the Earth. Those were just painful reminders of the friend she lost. And thanks to Pink's decision, it caused her psyche to have a meltdown. Okay, who was the genius to put that boss sign in there? Get rid of it now! I understand all of you hate Pink for this decision, but I think part of it was because Spinel didn't know what the heck was going on in Pink's life and homeworld. I'm pretty sure the majority of the time, Spinel spent her life in the garden, so I don't think she really knew what was happening. up to the point where Spinel was totally paranoid and was done effectively. Again, she even had every right to lash out at Steven. Even though some of this decision was not wise, Steven managed to make up for it, up to the point where even Spinel recognizes the consequences of her actions. It's very interesting that she even pays attention to how wrong this is, even questions of why she's even attacking Steven in the first place. All she just wanted was a friend. Nothing more, nothing less. I also liked the previous Spinel design because it gave us an idea of what she was like before the war. I don't know what future holds for her, but I do hope it has a positive outcome and that her relationship with the diamonds really helps heal her and become a better character in the future of Season 6. Before we wrap up this review, I thought it would be best to touch base about the diamonds a little bit more, even if they had a short amount of time in the movie. The gems really have had a good relationship, though a strange one, and I'm pretty sure, as many of you had heard me say before, their behavior is a bit concerning. I'm glad that they want Steven around, but I think they still need to work on letting go. And granted, it will take more than just 2 years to get over what happened with the actions of Pink. But one thing I do want to point out in a positive light in terms of their characterization is how they took in Spinel. True, she was still part of Pink's life, but they took her in anyway. If you think about it, Spinel's a regular gem and they're high-ranking diamonds. If she were to meet the group in seasons 1 to 5, I'm pretty sure Spinel would not have fared well against all 3 of the gems in their state. And I'm surprised no one noticed of a parallel. Steven's a powerful diamond living with regular gems, and Spinel is basically a regular gem living with 3 diamonds. Powerful diamonds at that. I'm very surprised that no one had even noticed that parallel, and I'm sure some of you who've been making these theories have also noticed this parallel as well. And I do hope that this parallel is put into a positive spin on things, though it may take a while for it to be apparent in Season 6. I do hope that we get to see more of the diamonds in Season 6. Overall, this movie really is good. Though, of course, there's so many questions about, like, where the heck is Jasper? And where exactly is our beloved Pink Pearl, who is now free from White's control? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But again, I would highly recommend Steven Universe for whenever you want to watch it. And it's really well thought out in terms of plot, song, and characters. So far, these are my thoughts on the movie review. If any of you would like to point anything out, feel free to put the comments in below. And if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. Thank you very much.